Well, we better tell you what those photos were about.
One night I wake up to Fiona screaming in my ear. I look over to the window and our window is mid being smashed because these two masked men are jumping through them. Machete in one hand, guns in the other, and start bashing the living daylights out of Ian. He falls to the ground, pool of his blood. We thought he was dead, so we jump through the window, no shoes on, in the middle of the night, half in the nip, running through the forested jungle area, just trying to find somewhere to take shelter until the co-founder Roy heard
The commotion.
And came to our rescue.
Ian's grand now though.
I live in Barcelona.
I live in Dublin.
We used to live in Lisbon together.
And then we went on our own individual journeys
Since then, we plan projects remotely together.
and meet up from time to time.
We'll design something somewhere in the world.
For something to eat and somewhere to sleep.
I wonder where we'll go next.
I know.
We met in college.
Ash slagged my yellow coat. In fairness, it was like a mustard yellow coat.
Yeah, it was hideous.
Thanks.
And then the rest is history, really.
Got rid of the coat. As a kid, I was always doing multiple activities at once. I was the person who was doing ballet and tennis, swimming and all the activities. And much to my parents' dismay, I didn't exactly keep everything up, but I was always up for experimenting and trying something new. I think one of my strongest and most early creative memories was when my Christmas card design was chosen as the best in class, and it was printed in the hundreds for parents to buy. I tried to choose a scene from the Bible that this is so Irish of me.
My earliest memory as a child to begin with was my mom telling myself and my brother, "You're only allowed to watch TV if you read a chapter of a book." And obviously I didn't want to go anywhere near a book, so the TV was always not an option for me. So I used to make TVs out of cereal boxes and make little puppets and then play with the box instead of watching TV.
What cereal was
Wheaties.
I had an obsession with fairies and creating little potions and huts and everything to do with imagination. And I think that sort of, in a way, carries through to what I do now. I'm a bit of a design generalist, so I like to take inspiration from different places, and I love starting new projects and learning about new subjects. I think curiosity is a bit like a language. It's one of those things that if you don't use it, you lose it.
I have always, like Fiona, been curious, and I think what we have kind of in common is we are kind of scaredy cats, but it doesn't stop us from trying it. So although we're tentatively trying it, we'll still give it a go, and I think that even helps us with working together because we're both nervously doing it together.
Cautiously curious.
Yes. My parents put me in a very unique small school because they'd never wanted to squish me into a box. From there, the motto was always delight in the present, and everyone was encouraged to be uniquely themselves. And I feel like all of us, now that we're grown up, we still have that kind of connection to ourselves and confidence within ourselves, even if we don't know where we're going in life. They brought you to India when you're 15 and 16, and I think that was kind of the pivotal moment where I decided I really wanted to experience the world, and experience the world in a way that isn't as a tourist. Together, myself and Fiona have lived or worked or both in 13 countries. So I feel like our shared knowledge of working with different kind of personalities, cultures, through language barriers helps with what we do together, because there's a lot of figuring out kind of communication once we start our projects.
I think truly this whole experience or this whole kind of opportunity came about from us thinking about ourselves, because we wanted to do this experience with Airbnb. They had an opportunity that people could travel the world and essentially share back with Airbnb what they learned on their travels. Ash and I applied for...
And we're convinced we were going to win.
And then of course, we didn't get chosen. So I think it was out of that need for travel and experience for ourselves that we thought, okay, maybe we create this opportunity for ourselves.
Through both of our experiences volunteering, we didn't like the idea of voluntourism, which is just like tourism through volunteering. And there's a lot of negatives that go on with it, and a lot of times you're doing more harm than good. We wanted to use our skills, but we didn't know how, and where are you going, and what project are you doing, and how'd you get there, and who'd you talk to, and there's so many unknowns, and we didn't know anyone doing it, and we just knew we wanted to go and work with passionate people doing something somewhere, and that's kind of where we started. We found this organisation in Malawi that was the only recycling company in the country, and we were hooked, and we were like, absolutely, we would love to go out there with them. And then a few months later we were on the plane. And
In Malawi, the problem was a disjointed customer and business experience. We designed the strategy, brand, and other communication pieces.
we actually lived in the workshop on the floor. Every time it rained, the electricity would go off. Anytime we plugged in our MacBook Pro big plug things, we'd blow up. Even streaming one episode, your internet card would run out. You buy these little scratch cards. Then there was like a flash flood that washed away all the chickens overnight. So we were actually quite hungry in Malawi because we were not in a place that had good supply of food. You kind of go into these projects completely blind, and then when you're there, you find out nuggets, and they kind of put everything on its head. And sometimes you're sitting there like, should we have gone somewhere else instead? But you don't know what you don't know.
I think something that really stands out for me from the project in Malawi was our work together with the team had for the team. The people who literally create these products with their own two hands, seeing the pride in how we've framed their work really gives them a sense of ownership and pride in what they're doing through what we did together. Our next project was in Colombia. We saw kind of like the posting online. Similarly, it was a nature reserve. There was this man called Felipe who was running the show. We ended up jumping on a Zoom with him, and we loved him from the moment we spoke.
From second one, we were like, we're coming to your house in Colombia. We actually ended up living with his 83-year-old mother, who was the most fantastic, incredible woman. We did not speak a word of Spanish. She did not speak a word of English, but we went Zumba dancing with her when Felipe said, oh, do you guys know Spanish? And we said, nope. And he said, oh, do you think that'll be a problem? And we were like, why would it be a problem? In Colombia, the problem was a lack of environmental culture and connection to the land. We created an educational board game, 2 environmental festivals, and bird guides. They were such a hit with the local people. They were all sold out basically immediately, and he's now doing another round of development in these board games. So it's amazing that it actually had a scope to it. He's making new cards by himself using the tools we gave him. They were learning how to use Figma in English, although now Figma has a Spanish version, and they were able to take what we gave them to actually develop it further.
At Bounce 2025, Ash and I had the amazing opportunity to speak on stage, and it was at the end of that talk that we called out to the audience asking for our next project, really.
Someone came up to us and said, do you want to go to Tobago? We didn't even know where that was. Fiona thought it was in the Middle East somewhere, and kind of then and there we said absolutely. 8 days after Bounce, we were on Zoom to this man called Ian Wright.
Ian is the co-founder of Corbin Local Wildlife, along with Roy.
When we arrived to Tobago in the middle of the night, we met his dog called Pat at his treehouse.
And when we got into our room, there was this massive toad sitting in the middle of the floor. And these toads are called crappos because they leave huge human-sized poos everywhere.
We literally thought it was an ornament. In Tobago, the problem was a disconnected visitor experience, lack of environmental data, and people attacking and disabling native snakes. We redesigned the visitor experience, including enclosure signage, an interactive fact wall, and an outreach campaign about snakes, as well as data collection.
We intended on tackling the problem of local illegal poachers in Tobago, and we thought, let's go in and solve this problem. And we were wrong. That's not what we did.
All the problems that happened in Tobago are the most unique things ever that kind of lead to a very clunky, bizarre solution, but it's the only solution. So half the things we did, we would not do them in our day job because they're kind of a mess. But the problem is also a mess too.
Take for advantage, if you're creating a poster or an information booklet, that information exists. But actually no, we had to go seek out the facts when we were creating the signs for each of the enclosures. We had to find experts on the island who could verify what was true and not true.
We have a lot of grit to us, although I've said previously we're kind of scaredy cats, we go in a bit tentative, we'll still do it, and I feel like a testament to us is this happened in the 3rd week of our project, and we still managed to say another 5 weeks. And I think that just shows our grit and our bounce back ability that we wanted to stay and complete the project.
Even though we kind of wanted to jump on the next flight.
When we decided we were going to speak at Bounce, we honestly didn't think anyone would give a shite. And the fact that people actually cared and cared enough to offer, how can we help? Is there an opportunity for your next project that we could do X, Y, and Z? We didn't even know how to answer that because we were so surprised that people, 1, cared and 2, wanted to help.
I think it was a real learning for us last year that we realized, oh, there is an amazing Irish design community and there's people you can reach out to. You just have to do it.
Why should I stay here? Why should I